Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief, and joining me today is Jalen. We're going to be talking about our snow day experience here in a blizzard in South Louisiana, nonetheless. Here, we also got Arkansas State going against Louisiana Ragin Cajun women's basketball, and Texas State, who they played against the Cajuns. In the Cajun Dome. They played, and Texas State was there to beat the Cajuns here. We're gonna start with the men, then we're gonna go with the women because they still are underway as we talk against Arkansas State here. So that's one game that we are actively watching here. So Jalen, how was your snow day, buddy?
My snow day, I would say it started off kind of bad, but then it was good. And the reason I say that, folks, is because out of many people that got to sit at home, I actually had to go to work during the snow days. It was very cold, especially that Tuesday. But hey, going into it, it still snow, like you said, Chief. It was a blizzard. It was nice to see once all the snow like came down and you couldn't see your feet. Honestly, I know I couldn't see mine walking through it and just picking up the snow and just throwing it. It's like I felt like, okay, yeah, this is a real snow day, something that we haven't had in forever in Louisiana in general. So no, it was nice. It was cold, but it was nice at the same time. I would say overall it was a good snow day. It was a great experience being out there in it.
Yeah, the Arkansas State and the Louisiana Educated Women's Basketball team are currently battling each other here. Giving y'all the score update. 5:42 left to go in the third quarter. Arkansas State leading the Cajuns 35 to 23. Arkansas State had a really big second quarter, which pulled them ahead 21 to 10. They outscored the Cajuns there, and they were tied at the end of one. It was 8 to 8. Now right now it's 6 to 5 in the third quarter, basically. So about the points they scored in that period there. The Cajuns are trying to fight back, and we'll see what they can do here. So as long as they can keep it going, they should do pretty well here. But a game that concluded earlier today, Texas State went on the road to take on Louisiana at the Cajun Dome here. I was kind of surprised they even held the games today, but it worked out pretty well because all the roads are kind of like melting and stuff here. So before we get into that game, let me talk about my snow day here because I know it's a big thing that happened down here. So I have a little 6-month-old baby, and I had to bring him outside. This is a kind of experience. We didn't stay too long, like 5 minutes out there, just to see what his reaction was to kind of see. And it was a very like cool to see him like in like look at that and see what was going on. Take some pictures of me and my wife and stuff. So that's something that you want to have with your family and stuff, and just kind of experience that moment. I was supposed to go to work that day, but we had got snowed in, so we just made the most of it. We stayed at the house all day, drinking hot chocolate and stuff like that, and just kind of just watching the weather and stuff. It was kind of weird. We have a Catholic church that like literally like right down the road right here, and you couldn't even see it. Like it was like a blanket of white everywhere here. I've talked to some people that were driving down Congress, and they couldn't even see the Cajun Dome. It was so white outside, like just the wind and everything. Like it looked like you just couldn't even see the Cajun Dome. It was crazy to even look at it that way, and that was crazy to see. So, Texas State and Louisiana, it was an 89 to 74 win for Texas State there. And just basically, Texas State shot very well in the first half, and that was basically the big difference. They were shooting 68% will doom any team that you're playing against here. It was a hot night for them. The Cajuns, they shot 40%. They didn't shoot bad in the first half, but I mean, they kind of went down to 37. And Texas State, they never stopped. 68, then they dropped down to 60%. That's still a hot shooting team there. Three pointers, they were 4 or 6 in the second half. Texas State was at 66% there. So whenever you're shooting 40 to 60% in a basketball game, you're going to put a lot of pressure on that other team that gets defensive stops and make it tough on you. And the Cajuns just never had an answer for Texas State that whole entire game there. The Cajuns leading scorer was Brandon Hardy, and he was 5 of 11 from the floor, and he was 1 of 3 from 3-point land. So he had 15 points in that game there. So it's just tough, man. For them to come up there and they had 30 points in the paint. The Cajuns did, and Texas State had 34 points in the paint. Points off turnovers, they even each other out with 11. Bench points, the Cajuns scored more from their bench, 33 to 24. Score was tied 5 times in that game. Lead changed was 7 different times. So the Cajuns in that first half, they were down 38-33. Then Texas State really took it to them in the second half, 51-41, outscoring them, and was able to, put the dagger in the heart in the game there. So, Jalen, is there any chance for this Raging Cajun men's basketball team to make it to the NCAA tournament? They would have to do a massive turnaround, I feel. But it's like their net rankings bad, their RPI is bad. It's gonna like they'll have to win the tournament. We're basically at that conclusion here because we're about to start February, that last home stretch of the regular season here before you get into conference tournament play. What do you think, Jalen?
Yeah, I agree with that, Chief. The only way this men's basketball team is getting into the big dance in March, they have to win the Sun Belt tournament. I mean, so far, I mean, yeah, Bob Marlin is gone, but yet now with was it Derek Zimmerman uh as the interim coach, it's like the Cajuns have been up and down, up and down. I mean, you look at the schedule since they've been in Sun Belt play. I give you like the last recent games, like they lost Old Dominion, but they beat ULM, and they lost Arkansas State, but then they beat ULM again. And for that, ULM is the bottom team in the Sun Belt, who I'm pretty sure still doesn't have a win yet in the Sun Belt, and then they lose this game against Texas State. So it's like they're just going up and down, up and down, up and down. There's nothing consistent, like you talked about, Chief. The Texas State shot really, really well in this game. The Cajuns shot under 40% overall in this game. Not a great shooting night for them. They got out rebounded uh, to Texas State. I just think that this wasn't the Cajuns game, and I know everything's going on in Louisiana with the snow and everything. Like you said, Chief, I'm surprised they even had the game today. I know roads are kind of opening up, things are opening up, and it's great that they're getting back into action after not being able to probably even practice because of the snow. Because it's like I said, but of course it affects the Cajuns. Um, but at the same time, it's like they're still not playing consistent basketball. But hey, the bright light that I do see is that they can enter the Sun Belt tournament, and if they win that, it doesn't matter right now if Arkansas State, who's one of the top teams, South Alabama, one of the top teams in the Sun Belt for the men's. Hey, if the Cajuns could knock those teams off, or they get knocked out, and they actually Cajuns win the Sun Belt tournament, they're in the big dance, and that's all that matters at this point of the season. And if they make the big dance, this season is a win for the Cajuns. The way they started out and the way they've been playing, that would be a win, Chief, in my book. I don't know about you, but
Yeah, I think if they can win, like if they just so looking at this particular game here, the Cajuns had a lot of chance for second chance points. They actually shot the ball more than Texas State. So I mean, they have like basically offensive rebounds, the second chance points, which I think is a really big thing in basketball whenever you get down to it. If they make all those offensive rebounds, that's easily 20 points right there, just the putbacks or whatever, compared to Texas State's 5. So that was a 10-point differential swing that could have occurred in this game here. If you just, you'd have had 89, 84 loss there. But the Cajuns, like on defensive side of like getting defensive rebounds, they got out rebounded really bad, like you were talking about, 27-11 on the defensive rebounds part right there. So that right there is tough. Offensive rebounds, if you can get those, you'll be in a really good spot, but you gotta capitalize whenever you have the opportunity to do so. Looking at the Sun Belt Conference standings for the men's basketball, South Alabama leading the way at 6-1 in the conference here. We're not going to worry about overall records because Sun Belt's bad in basketball overall. Cajuns are 4-4, believe it or not, in the Sun Belt, but they're kind of more toward the bottom. You got teams like Old Dominion, James Madison, Georgia Southern, who are all ahead of the Cajuns right now in Sun Belt play. UOM is 0-7. They haven't won a conference game yet. Coastal Carolina 1-7. So the teams that the Cajuns are going to play up again, play against again here, they got Southern Miss, Texas State, South Alabama, Georgia Southern, Troy, Marshall at Troy. So that 4 game stretch where they have like, well, 5 game stretch I call it between South Alabama to Troy on February 20th. You got to get a run somewhere to really climb up these standings here. So Troy's 4-3. Those games are must wins, I think, for the Cajuns here. I think you got to win. That's must wins to get you in position. Marshall's 4-3. You got to win that one. Georgia Southern and South Alabama, I think those are both most wins to me. So, just to kind of like get you an advantage, you're 3 games back in the regular season title. Like an NIT appearance would be big for this team here. So, that's just the way it is, and it's going to be interesting to see how this goes here because you're playing for seeding purposes here. And the later on in the tournament you want to be in, you're jockeying for those seeding positions. So you right now to skip it the first day, you have to be a 10 or a 9 seed. If we it ended right now and how it's ranked and stuff in there, there's 14 teams in the Sun Belt. So 14, 13, 12, 11. Cajuns are at 10. So right now they're skipping the first day of the battle there, which 9 seed actually makes it there too. So getting back to the tournament purposes here that we're talking about here, it's on March 5th. I know we're way ahead of schedule. Y'all bear in mind with that here. There's a lot of basketball left to be played here, but you're one game, you're one spot ahead from playing on the first day of the tournament. So you don't want to play in that first 2 games because it's more teams you got to play, more chances for you have to win. So you have to win. They'll be playing against game two if they stay like it is. It would be between 11 and 14 seed. Then you got, if you get the 10th seed and you got to play on Thursday, then Friday again, just depending on where you end up being at here. You're game four, so you play against the number 7 seed. And then the if you win game six, you have to play the 6 seed, and then so forth. Like you'll be game eight, when game eight winner play the 3 seed, and then game 10 winner play the 2 seed. And then, if you manage to make it through, that's 1, 2, 3. Wait. Oh man, my thing jumped. Let's see. 1 game, 2 game, 3 game, 4 game. You got to play 6 games to win the whole entire thing. So obviously, putting yourself in a better situation by winning these games consistently helps the Cajuns out a lot if you can do that there for the men. Now, switching gears here, I think if they can, they can get a run going, get themselves like in the 5th or 4th seed possibly in the standings, it'll be great news for them. And just to give you a score update with the women's basketball team, they're down by 20 to Arkansas State right now, 46-26. They're getting, beat up pretty bad in the third right now. It's a 17-8, box scoring there. So yeah, it's trending toward the Cajuns dropping this game to Arkansas State here. They're 10-7, Cajuns are 8-8 so far on the year. So now that we're looking at that here, I'm gonna jot them down for a loss right here because I think they're not gonna be able to come back. And it's 20 points a lot to come back with 1 period left. And it's trending toward that direction. Arkansas State's third in the conference, so I mean, you kind of expect that here. But pulling it up here for women's basketball, Cajuns are 4-3, like Arkansas State 6-1. Like I said, they're third, and Cajuns are currently sixth in the conference. So if they drop this one, they'll be 4-4, tied with Coastal. And if Arkansas State wins, they'll be 7-1, right in the thick of it between Troy and James Madison. So looking ahead here for like Jay, let me get your thoughts on the men's basketball team. Then we switch over to women's basketball. What you thinking about? Like, how is it going to go for them? You believe?
Yeah, I'm thinking that for I agree with what you said, Chief. If they don't go in a run at this back stretch of the season, especially with February coming in, then I don't see them even making out of winning 1 game in the Sun Belt tournament. But I think if they're able to make a run, even if that's winning back-to-back games, something they haven't been able to do in a deep part of this season, especially in Sun Belt play. But even winning back-to-back games, that'll be some momentum. That'll be something pushing for this Ragin Cajuns men's basketball team heading into the Sun Belt tournament. So it's at this point you just need to win, and that's all you need to do. Just win by any means necessary. Because it don't matter if you win the regular season when it comes to the Sun Belt. All that matters is that conference title, and you win that tournament, you're in.
It's crazy that the women played Arkansas State so close in that first game, 67-65, and one overtime. The overtime loss to them, and then played them like next week and 20-point differential swing there. So They get to stay at home on Saturday playing against Troy, and they lost last time to Troy, so we'll have to see what happens here. Let's see what the predictor has. I love doing the predictor just to kind of see where it ends up at because this is something that okay, 15 and 12 overall, 11 and 7 in the Sun Belt here. I want to see what it has for against so for the game today, it had them beating Arkansas State 65 to 59. Now it's got them on a three-game losing streak right after that, but they're trending toward losing Arkansas State here. Then they got them playing Marshall, Texas State, and then you owe them a three-game winning streak with that right there. That's kind of far-fetched to me. No, a four-game winning streak because they got them sweeping Texas State. Then a loss to UOM. I think they'll beat UOM both times when they play them. I just don't see UOM winning. I think you can maybe swap that with probably Texas State. I think they might drop one to Texas State here. Like this right here. The Cajuns are going through the meat of their schedule basically right here. Like the real tough part because everybody else is less than 500 right here because this four-game stretch they've been a part of with it ending on Saturday against Troy, Arkansas State, Troy and Arkansas State again, 9 and 7, 11 and 7 when it gets Division One teams. And then when you start looking at it with Troy and all them on the women's basketball side, Troy and Arkansas State are 2 and 3 in the Sun Belt, like we mentioned earlier. You're gonna have to play to that standard and be able to capitalize when you're up there. But look, this women's basketball team's good this year. They have a good chance here. Right now, as it sits here, I think they'll beat Coastal. I think they got a real good chance to beat Coastal, honestly, because even though they're 13 and 5 overall, they're 11 and 5 against Division One teams. I think it's a really good opportunity here for them here, because they're going to come back and they're going to start winning some games here. But toward the back end, looking really good with South Alabama, Southern Miss, UOM, and Texas State on the last four games, which they can really compile a good conference run there and just see what happens with it there because it's gonna be fun to see what happens. But I just don't like the predicted RPI team sheet here. Wonder what's gonna get them. Where's the predicted one? Let's see. It's got them finishing at 191, which it's not gonna be enough to really do anything with them, but it's just the way it is here. They got them quadrant records and all that other stuff, but we'll just see what happens when you get down to it here. So, Jalen, do you think there's a how deep you think this women's basketball team goes this year? You think they can win the Sun Belt tournament?
I think this team can win the Sun Belt tournament. I mean, when you look at it, when you look at the team like JMU, who's lead James Match is leading right now, they're undefeated in the Sun Belt. But if you look at their schedule the last couple games, I mean, the Cajuns only lost to them by five, and then you look at the rest of the schedule following that. JMU's was beating every team after that by double digits. So the Cajuns really played them close in saying that they're saying that JMU is the top team in the Sun Belt. The Cajuns honestly played Troy close in the first game, and they get to get some kind of revenge when they play them Saturday at home. So I think the Cajuns right there. That's the top two teams right there in the Sun Belt. And of course, they were close against Arkansas State, like we talked about. This game not so close, but hey, you're gonna have an off game, like you said, with the snow and everything's happening in Louisiana. That's got people's minds taken into whole different places. Trust me, including me and you also, Chief. So we understand. But besides that, yeah, I think the Cajuns can actually win the Sun. But this is the best women's team I would say that we've seen in a couple of years. They actually are a deep team. They have the veteran pieces, and this team, I think this team could really make a run. And they keep playing well. They keep winning these games leading up to the Sun Belt tournament. They can upset this JMU team, upset this Troy team, and guess what? They'll be making it to the big dance. I can see it happening.
Like the weird thing about basketball and baseball, they're different sports, but they're very much alike in the same. You get a person that can get hot for 4 or 5 games, you got a really good chance that like especially if it's your star player and stuff. Erica Lafayette 12 points. Tamaya Robinson, 7 points so far with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Arkansas State leading 47 to 28 over the Louisiana Ragin Cajuns right now. Ashlyn Jones, they're five. Cameron Jones is at 2 points currently right now in this game here for Louisiana. And just you were like, okay, that sounds like great numbers, but uh, Winter Rogers for Arkansas State's got 10 rebounds in this game so far. So, and that they're dominating the boards right now. Cameron Jones 7, and that's just the way it's going right now for them here. Looking at team stats currently between these two, obviously I just mentioned the score, but right now, field goal percentage right now, Arkansas State is shooting 40%, Cajuns shooting 20. So, uh, that's okay. They dropped down to 39 to 20. So, but they're still shooting a lot better than the Cajuns are. If the Cajuns could shoot a little bit better, they would actually probably be winning this game here, looking at it, because they shot the ball more than Arkansas State. They're 9 of 43 from the floor. That's got to change, man. Whew. They stinking up the place that they're shooting right now. Well, Cajuns just scored 47 to 30. So we'll see if they can make a comeback here. Still enough time. There's 9 minutes left to go here, but 17 points is a lot to overcome in that fourth quarter, though. I'm hoping they're able to pull it off there, but uh, I I want to see if they have like so possessions. They're both at 53 possessions. Arkansas State got one more personal foul. Second chance points. Louisiana 6, and they're Arkansas State's at 5 points in the paint. 16 for the Cajuns. 14 for Arkansas State. Arkansas State's blowing them the Cajuns away in fast break points. 18-7. Arkansas State's got 14 steals and to Louisiana's 8. So points off turnovers, like I said, turnovers are a really big part in games, and if you can get hot and stuff with it, they'll really make you good. 14-9, Arkansas State's leading that one here. That's your totals so far for this game as we keep track of what's going on here. So Jalen, okay, if they drop this game, how you see this team going forward? Like, are they going to be in a really good spot even if they drop this game to Arkansas State?
I still think they're in a good spot, even if they drop this game. I know they're kind of going on a losing streak, adding to it after losing this game, but I still think they're in a great spot. Now, if they were to, lose to Troy again on Saturday, and then even lose the App State the following week, I'll be like, okay, now, like I don't want to say panic mode, but I do want to say, hey, like what's going on with the women's team? But I think this loss, it's not going to change anything. They're still right there in the middle when it comes to the in the standings in the Sun Belt. I think they're in great shape. They're just going against the top teams now. And hey, even with a loss, guess what? Look at that film. You're looking to see what you could have done better. And guess what? You're going to play even better to beat this team next time. So I still think they'll be in a great spot even after this loss to Arkansas State.
I'll add to that too, Jalen. It is very hard when you get in tournament time to beat a team 3 times. Like whenever you play somebody, whether it be in any sport, beating them 3 straight times, it's very hard to sweep somebody in uh, baseball and stuff. Basketball the same way. It's very hard unless you're just obviously better than them. Okay, like if like the way it's going right now for the Cajuns, the score is not going to reflect it, but it's very hard to beat someone 3 times in a row when you play them, no matter how it went. So that's what worries me when teams play each other 3 times, because like, oh man, you kind of want to go pull the upset thing, because it's like it's tough to win them, because the people you win one time against, like, okay, then if you play them again, it's like, all right. So right now the Cajuns like in the middle of the pack of the Sun Belt, basically, with the women's standings right now. They would be, if you're looking at it right now, one, two, three, four, five. They'd be at a 6 seed. They haven't played. They'll play Coastal pretty soon. They haven't played them in the conference yet. So that's something we're looking at. And they only played them one time. So that game there is going to be very important as far as seeding for the conference tournament is in jeopardy there, because so that 6 seed here, let's see where that puts you at here. That 6 seed's really important because you get to play on Friday and the championship game's on Sunday. I mean, not in Monday, I mean, excuse me. So Monday, that 6 seed, you're gonna be playing on Friday. You got one game on Friday. You got a game on Saturday, a game on Sunday. So you got to play 4 games to that 6 seed. If you're that 7 seed, you can play a whole extra game, 7 seed, because you start playing on that Thursday, and that's 5 games you got to play instead of the 4 games there. So less games is better for you because less injuries that could possibly happen, and you're kind of fighting for your life there at that point. So it's easier to win 4 games in a row than win five and try to go through it. So we'll see what happens with all that there. So we'll see what the Cajuns do. I think they're going to be in a good spot once you get down into it here for the women's basketball team. I think they can beat Coastal. I really and truly believe that. I think they're gonna probably split these upcoming games against Troy and App State here. I think they might drive it to Troy and end up picking up the win against App State on the road in Boone, North Carolina. Coastal, I think the Cajuns could beat Coastal. I think they got a really good ball club, the Cajuns here. I think they just need to shoot better from the floor. Not like if they can shoot like they normally do, I think they'll be all right. This game is a very low scoring game for them because I mean, you look when they played Troy, they shot 42% from the floor. And today they're shooting 27%. This is an off-shoot night for them. That could be the layover. Like this game, I think was supposed to be played on Wednesday, I believe, and I think they moved it, if I remember right. I could be wrong about that, but that's I know LSU women's basketball game got moved to tomorrow against South Carolina. That was a big deal because of the how highly ranked both those teams are. But back to the Cajuns here. I think it's been a weird time. Let's just say it like that. Been a weird time just to kind of see here. I think the Cajuns did when they dropped Arkansas State. I think they're gonna beat App State and Troy. What do you think, Jalen?
Yeah, I think when it comes to that game against like we talking about App State, I I think they will get revenge against Troy. And I agree with you. I think they're going to drop one of those two. I think they're going to beat Troy though at home, and then they got to go to App State later on the following week. But I think they're going to lose the one against App State, but then they shake back and get a great win against a Coastal team who's right behind them in the standings. And to be honest, overall, Coastal is they're 4-4 in Sun Belt play, but overall they're 13-5 record wise. So that still be a huge win, and that could be the spark of something. 'Cause after that, they go on the road against Coastal. Guess what? After that, it's not one, not two, not three, but four straight home games, including the Max Sunbelt Challenge against Miami, Ohio. So we have to wait and see what's going to happen. But this team will get a lot of momentum heading into February.
All right, so I think that's gonna wrap up everything here on the Fishbowl Radio. Hope you have a great and wonderful day here. We covered everything we could about men's and women's basketball here. As we look forward to their schedule and how they could possibly, play into this postseason picture here. So basically, every game from here on out is going to matter in the big grand scheme of things, like it normally does here. But we're going to have to watch and pay attention to this seeding here as we get closer to these conference tournaments and see where you play at. So obviously, you want to win more, so you can be higher up in the conference standings and have less games to play, so you can have a better chance at winning the tournament. So thank y'all for tuning in here to the Fishbowl Radio. Hope you have a great and wonderful day. We'll see you here next time on the Fishbowl Radio. Have a good night, Fishbowl Nation.